All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Underdog Wealth Academy. Today I'm with my brother-in-law, Taylor Covey. This is going to be super fun. Thanks for being on, Tay.
It's going to be really fun.
Let's do it. Yeah, Tay and I you've been married to my sister for how long?
It's 8 years.
8 years.
I can't mess that up.
I've had a lot of these chats just on the couch, casual chats. So first ever videoed, documented chat together, but this will be super fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the blessings I have in life is my siblings all married people that I really love and love hanging out with, and so it's been a fun ride, dude.
Yeah, it has. No, and just for all the listeners, whatever Parker says nice about me is not really true. It's just because I'm married to his sister,
that's
so he's
right.
obligated to say it.
Yeah, I am trying to keep you around, so
everyone
there might be some truth to that.
Yeah, exactly.
Taylor is way qualified to be on the pod, man. He's really killed it, and I look up to him a ton. Introing his story, we'll talk about a lot of stuff today, but it's kind of different than some of the other guests I've had on. I've had a lot of door-to-door type reps on, investors, had some like spiritual kind of people on, but Tay actually kind of is all of those, but his experience is in insurance, which is kind of an unsexy, boring industry, but he has killed it and has actually had 2 exits already. You're in your early 30s and has already had 2 exits in the insurance industry, some pretty big paydays. And so I'm really excited to just talk about how you went and built that. Married to my sister, you have 2 kids.
Yep.
Mac and Brooks.
They're giving us a run for our money.
They're the best. Both just like full of tons of energy, and yeah. I love them. They're amazing. You guys live in Daybreak.
Yep.
And what else? We love golfing together. We're going duck hunting on Saturday. My first time duck hunting.
It's Park's first time. We're getting him out there, getting the rookies. Gonna have some fun. Opening day sounds like World War III, so he's gonna have to bring some.
We're ready for it.
Some earmuffs.
Yeah, gonna take Darrell's. My stepdad, who passed away, gave us all a gun. You got one.
Yep.
And about to, in honor of him, take some ducks out.
Love it.
So that'll be fun.
Yeah.
Anyway, tell us a little bit about your upbringing, dude. Grew up in Utah, went to Brighton High.
Yep.
I guess just walk us through like pre-mission upbringing.
Yeah, no, I loved everything sports growing up. I mean, my parents were incredible. They're super involved. They care a lot. They're super thoughtful. We always had everything that we kind of needed. Never was left wanting for anything, I should say.
Yeah.
But it was great. Yeah, my childhood was mainly just sports. We'll get into this as time goes on, and it'll make more sense in the story. But like, from a young age, I was curious about my 2 sides of the family are very stark, and then even marrying into yours, there's a lot of varying differences between the families. Mm-hmm. So I felt like I was super blessed to see a bunch of different lifestyles, a bunch of different people, the way they go about life, and it totally helped me navigate and find what works for me down the road. So yeah, it was a great time, and I got to see all the different sides. The Coveys were, super great. Grew up in the church, and we've been really dedicated to our faith. And so I learned a lot that way. I learned a lot of business principles from my mom's side, the Longson side. And a lot of the Coveys are a lot more the traditional path, kind of doctor, lawyer, engineer,
writing books.
Get a good job, write books. Yeah, they're writing books. I'm not in the will, so that's why I'm still
not the
working.
Stephen Covey will. Yeah, you're on the. He's your grandpa's brother, right?
My grandpa's brother. Yeah, so it's my dad's uncle.
So that's why you're hustling.
That's why I'm still out hustling.
Yeah.
I don't get those royalties.
You're not on the royalty list.
I come in. But yeah, no. So, I mean, the long and short of it is I've been super blessed with my family and just seeing different things and taking different pieces.
Cool.
And yeah, this will make a little bit more sense in my story down the road. But my dad's an attorney, super analytical, one of the kindest humans you'll ever meet in your life. Yeah,
he's amazing. Love Joe.
And my mom's side, my Longson side, is very entrepreneurial, risk takers, adventurous. And that's not to say that the Coveys never are, or my dad's not, but usually much more calculated and analytical on that side. So I kind of got to grow up in both worlds where I got to take a lot of risk and see what that looks like and feel what that looks like. And then also, hey, how do I make sure that I'm measured and thoughtful and
Interesting.
I strategize things at some level?
Yeah, it's cool you say that because I've seen that in you. Like, I feel like you're a really cool balance of calculated numbers guy, but then also the soft skills and also kind of big thinker. You're a cool combination of all of that. I actually see that. And so it'll be fun to get into, why you went and did what you did. But yeah, I see that in your family. And then you married into our family at some point, and
amazing.
Yeah, my stepdad and then my dad, they're both like entrepreneurs, really big thinkers, probably more like on the Longson side of your family.
Yeah.
Dreamers,
yeah,
risk takers.
The most talented people skills between Garl and your dad. I mean, I've never met two people that are truly more talented with people. Just people understanding skills. People skills, connecting people.
Yep.
I mean, it's a different category and level than I've ever seen.
Yeah.
That's their superpower for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it's cool. It's cool learning from your parents and then just making decisions based off of lessons learning up, and then at some point you get to check into the game and play it. It's pretty cool. So that was growing up, played sports. You played football at Brighton.
Yep. And lacrosse.
And lacrosse, that's right. I grew up pretty close to you and went to Cottonwood, so we grew up pretty close to each other, had some mutual friends. Then you went on a mission to Brazil.
Yeah, Rio de Janeiro.
Speak to, just the experience there. How was that in terms of laying the foundation for coming home?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of your listeners probably have gone on missions or are familiar with missions. And for me, it was incredible. I needed to get out. I knew from an early age, once again, that I would go. But that obviously for me was really defining in that my household was super structured. And I tried to do as best I could. And I probably pushed back against the grain a little more than some of my siblings, and that's like a running joke in our family a little bit. But I always tried to be pretty, pretty down the line on a lot of that stuff. And so I knew I wanted to go on a mission, and once I did it, it just felt natural. It was one of those things where it wasn't a question of if I was going to go, or it was just when and how it was going to be.
Yeah.
And I got my call. I had no idea what Brazil was like. I thought it was just going to be monkeys running around everywhere, and that definitely wasn't the case.
Yeah.
But it was great. I mean, obviously, I now today whenever I chat with people, and you mentioned we've been acquired a couple times, so I've had a lot of interaction with folks outside of our state. The company that acquired us is not there, so we talk a lot about. They're curious, hey, what is a mission like?
Right.
And what does that feel like? And everyone that I come across, I can't advocate for it enough that I needed that type of structure in my life early on. And that really enabled me to have some level of structure or guidance of where to go, how to do it, how to work hard. We always worked hard growing up, but it was like my parents were always telling me what to do, and I would just do it. Where now I got to have that freedom and have that choice. And now I need to go make those decisions and choices for myself for the long run. And that really just totally shaped me. And I know here in Utah, we're kind of in a vacuum where it's just common. Like a lot of times we don't even talk about people's missions because just kind of
everyone
assume
did one. Yeah.
Everyone, did it. But when you talk to somebody outside, they're mind blown.
Yeah,
like, it really is crazy.
It's very peculiar to people. Like, you spent 2 years of your prime growing up years doing something really hard, not for yourself, doesn't really serve yourself at all. It's just like looking outward, and it's a sacrifice. I think that's true. Like, I feel like in Utah we need to do a better job of missions are exceptional, and people that go do that for 2 years are unique and really cool. And I think it does lay just an amazing foundation for people's lives. And that's cool.
So no, it ended up being great. Came back from that and went straight into college. I started at UVU and then ended up transitioning to the University of Utah. But Yeah, did some door to door.
Yeah, you did 2 years at Vivint, right?
Yeah,
And
you
that's
and
when
I
we
started
met.
at the same time,
Yeah,
actually.
yeah, we
Everyone,
were
just
both
so
knocking
everyone
at Vivint.
knows, this is me just getting it out there. I would never admit this to Parker's face, but I have to. He was better than me both summers by far, so I just need to put that out there.
Well, you were knocking in Montana, dude. There's not enough people to go sell alarms to,
Yeah,
there's a population issue in that market.
yeah.
Yeah, so we actually met then. You were dating my sister and you were selling at Vivint. We were in different regions and groups within the company, but yeah, which I think, like, circling back to what you were talking about, which is like having the analytical side, but then also the soft skills side, that probably helped on that side too, because you have that piece to you. Like, you have the ability to go sell, drive revenue, connect with people, feel comfortable. You were a good rep, and like that's the cool thing about, I think, your skill set is, like, yeah, you do have the Covey side, which is very analytical, but then you have that other side too.
Yeah.
How much of that do you attribute to the doors and starting in
Honestly, a
world?
lot.
Really?
I truly do. Like,
Yeah.
I was thinking back about this a little bit ago, and I still get together with a lot of my original Vivint friends. Like, one of the things that I can't advocate for enough is that changed the way that I viewed business in general. Up until that point, I wanted to be a dentist. The richest guy on my street that would come home every day at 2:00, he was a dentist.
I never knew this.
And so I was a biology major when I first started college
At UVU?
at UVU
Okay.
for the beginning. And it was because there was a neighbor down my street that was a dentist, and it's like he showed up every day at 2:00. He had a pool. He was a younger guy, had season tickets to the Jazz.
Yep.
I'm like, that is
Dream life.
life. Like, I'm like, I don't know what that guy does, but that's what I want to do, because
Yeah.
my dad's an attorney and he's slaving away.
Wow,
Like,
crazy.
he's super hard worker, and
Yep.
we definitely have everything we need, but like, it seems like he's slaving away. My dad's slaving away compared to him. So
Sure.
what I realized, and I was just too ignorant up until this point, but the doors opened my eyes to say, hey, there's a lot of ways to make money in this world. And at the end of the day, money was a means to an end. I love that guy's lifestyle, because it was like, hey, he gets to go home and hang out with his family unlimited amounts of time. So that's what I want. And that was one of the things that the doors taught me, is like, hey, you can go hustle and make a bunch of money, and there's a lot of ways to make $1. Like, you do not need to be a doctor, lawyer, engineer to go make $1, right? That being said, like, it opened the way that business, I viewed business and how I could make money. And what I ended up coming to find out is that guy down the street was actually he owned dental practices. He was a dentist.
Yeah, he didn't have his hands in people's mouths. He was like, or even if he did, he was participating in the
highest level activity.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he was doing the high-end surgeries.
Got it.
Occasionally, mainly because he wanted to, and he wanted to give back.
But he was a business guy. He wasn't like
he was a business guy
dentist working in someone else's practice. He was like
exactly right.
part of the creation of the value in that experience to the customer.
He was rolling up dental offices before that was cool.
Oh, wow. Cool.
So that was one of the things that I learned. And so once I saw that and I went out on summer sales, like, and a lot of my friends there, this is going back to that advocating part, is like, I can't, on the doors, you learn the soft skills, you learn rejection. And most of all, you're with other people that are also you have to have a little bit of crazy in you. And those people have a little bit of crazy. And at the end of the day, those are the people you're going to want to do business with down the road.
Yeah.
Like, they're the hustlers, they're ambitious, they're not afraid. They've learned the soft skills, just like you. I mean, those are the people you're going to want to do business with down the road.
Yeah.
And, so that's why I can't advocate for it enough. I mean, obviously to do what you do and have this long of a sustained career is so hard.
Yeah.
Like, it's so unique, and you're such a talented blend to be able to find ways to continue to be the best at sales and continue to be the best culture, team leader, manager, and grow that up, and then have acumen to be able to run a business. That's not normal for people.
Yeah.
Right. And, I think that's why, there's nothing wrong with staying on the doors for as long as you want, because you can make so much money.
Yeah.
But for me and for a lot of people, it's just not the path.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean people shouldn't do it, because I could not do what I do today without that.
Yeah, there's not a ton of people that will stay in the door-to-door thing and make it a career. I mean, I think it's a launch pad to, for most people, it's a grow and go model that then teaches them how to go execute in whatever space they're going to go work in. That's something that allows them to have a sustainable lifestyle and go build something. And
Yeah.
there's a lot of opportunity outside of it. And it is, it's a young person's game, kind of the door-to-door thing. Like you hit a point where if you haven't built enough teams and your downline's not strong enough, it gets tricky to stay in the game. And so, the leadership and the recruitment part of it is big, but it sounds like to you, the two biggest benefits for you in doing it were the soft skills, the selling component, and learning how to go bring in revenue and drive revenue, sell,
Yep.
and then just who you were around. Like, it just opened up your eyes to like, hey, there's some ambitious people here that are seeing things a little bit differently. And, I agree with that so much. Like, even people that don't work with me anymore, like I love staying close with and in terms of proximity with people that have worked with me, because I just love the way they think. I love the like people that are willing to be the hunters within an organization. And it feels like door-to-door people are willing to go do that. And at the end of the day, like, I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but that's what ended up happening for you is you put your business cap on, you found a way to go find an opportunity. And then you were a glorified salesperson, driving revenue, bringing it in.
Yep.
And ended up creating a pretty dang cool thing. So let's kind of go there next. So you're in door-to-door for 2 years. You then transitioned. You were at the University of Utah and you studied business at the U, right?
Yep. Yeah, I started down the finance route, and I loved finance, still love finance, but they were pushing me down investment banking, and I knew I didn't want to do that.
Why is that? Just lifestyle,
yeah,
family,
the culture
moved to a big city.
Moved to a big city, culture, crazy hours. I'm like, once again, going back to my door-to-door experience, there's a lot of ways to make $1.
Yeah.
I don't need to go kill myself on Wall Street to go make some money.
Sure.
Right. So that was a big thing. And going back to that third thing, this also, what enabled me to take that next step was door-to-door, because I had saved up enough cash to look for another opportunity and not feel rushed.
Yeah.
Right.
That.
So that's another big thing that, I have to attribute back to door-to-door. So, I'm not just blowing smoke. Like, that really was one of the most transformative periods of time for me. But yeah, so I was at school at the U studying finance. I loved finance. I loved the numbers. But I didn't want to go down investment banking. So I started down that path. Probably could have got a minor in it, but just didn't want. I was like, I realized I found what I wanted to do. So I was like, what's the fastest way out? For me, that was marketing. It also ended up being a great transitional degree for me. But during that time, I was in college, finished up some of the door-to-door stuff, just got married, said, hey, I don't want to go back out on the doors again. Let me find something. So I took kind of the same concept of, hey, if I'm going to go work hard, just like I would on the doors, what can pay me recurring?
Yeah.
And insurance was one of those that came up. For me, it was coming down to real estate.
So you were interested in models, again, thinking about that kind of dentist guy.
Yeah.
Always like, what are the models, the money models that allow me to sell something once and continue to get paid?
Yeah.
Is that kind of
create
where
the
your head
lifestyle? Yeah.
It was all about lifestyle.
Yeah. Cause it was like, hey, I want to be able to make the money so I can spend time with my family.
Right.
I don't want the money to control me where I never have enough of it and I just don't ever spend time.
I think you and I at that stage in life, because I remember those conversations, we were thinking very similarly, and I think the strategy was a little different. Whereas, like, for me, it was the doors plus investing equaled freedom.
Yeah. And
for you, it was, I'm gonna go find an active job that if I just go pour into and hustle, then it will equal freedom.
Yep.
And it was a model that, and the vehicle that you chose with that was insurance.
Yeah. And I just knew from the beginning, I always wanted to own something. Going back to looking at my uncles, like they all owned something. They went through the highs, the lows, but they've all done really well. But it was because they owned
ownership.
Things. Same thing, going back to your thing, it's like whether you own real estate, you own stocks, you own a business, owning assets is what changes your life financially more than anything, more than the active income, right?
Yep. People with high net worth, they own stuff, period.
Yeah, period. There's no other way to create exponential wealth.
That's right.
But yeah, so that was the thing. And I basically narrowed it down to say, hey, I know nobody in insurance. I found out that I did. One of my best friends from high school, his dad owned one of the large regional brokers called Diversified at the time.
Okay.
And I had looked around at a couple of those, but I knew I didn't want to be one of the rats on the wheel. Um,
So you didn't want to go work for a big corporation or
no,
just kind of plug into a big thing.
yeah, looking back, I probably now when I talk to people, it's like, hey, I think you should get into a model to learn the model and the system better
Yeah.
before you branch out. Lucky enough for me, I was just dumb enough and blind enough to not do that. You know, I heard a quote that stuck with me ever since I've heard it, but they just said, confidence doesn't make you more likely or less likely to succeed. It just blinds you from risk.
Hmm.
And for me, that couldn't have been more true. I've always been a confident person. I knew I wanted to own my own thing, and I had the confidence that I could do it. And it blinded me to all the risks of starting your own book from scratch and how do you learn the insurance game, and hey, you only eat what you kill.
Right.
Nobody's here to help train you. Like, it was dumb,
Right.
quite frankly. But
yeah, but
the confidence is what created it for me.
Anyone that does anything amazing, that's just that the first couple innings they just look and feel that way though, right?
Yeah.
Like they call you crazy, and then 10 years down the road they call you smart.
Genius, yeah.
Yeah. And honestly, even myself looking at it was like, dude, Tay was making good money on the doors, transition into insurance. You had to delay gratification really, really heavy that first couple years, right? Because the model was not like big commissions up front in your game, right? You weren't selling life insurance. You were selling commercial, reoccurring, like sell a customer, and then it's drips, right? Like small drips every month type of a model.
Yeah.
Right?
So when I got into it, I was like, hey, I don't want to be schlepping it to my friends and family.
Yeah.
Right. I want it to be at least somewhat professional.
Sure.
So it's a career.
Yeah.
And no offense to those that sell life insurance, there's so much money to be made, but like that was one of the insecurities that I had, where I was like, hey, I want to get a real job and a real career. Yeah. For some reason, that was the one that stuck with me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, okay. And it was fun because I didn't fully know what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to own something. So I was like, hey, the cool thing is, if I build up a bunch of this passive income, I get to talk to business owners every day. I get to hear their story, hear about what keeps them up at night, because at the end of the day, I'm insuring the risks that keep them up.
Yeah.
So
that's cool. So you, in some ways, you maybe feel like you got an MBA by interacting with your customers or potential clients.
There's no questions.
Wow,
from startup companies to 50, 70, $100 million plus companies. Like you just get to see the different stages and levels of where the owners are at and how they got there and the risks they had to take. So that was always super fun for me, and I'm extremely curious. And so it just fit my personality of what I wanted, how I wanted to learn. It was a way for me to make money, and I just loved the people that I was talking to every day. And so, yeah, it was like the perfect path. But yeah, my model was, I found a company that focused on commercial. They were a little more boutique, but it was eat what you kill.
Two other partners?
Yeah, there was 3 at the time.
Okay.
And then a handful of staff, 10 to 12 staff there.
Okay.
And the model was, hey, you come here, we split everything 50-50, but you get to own your book. So at some point, if you want to grow your book and walk at some point, you can. At every other model, if you go to work for somebody, they own your book. So if you leave, you have a non-compete. You can't go back after those customers. And it's actually held to the standard. Like, you can't go back and get those. So I was like, great. Hey, I love this model for me. I think it's a bad idea for you, Mr. Business Owner, but I couldn't be more grateful that you have this option. And I had made enough money in summer sales that I could eat top ramen and try to make it work.
Which I think you can't look past that, because like if you want to go do something risky, quote unquote risky, like you have to have some runway. You got to give yourself some runway to go try that thing or tackle that thing. I tell people all the time, like, you should go try stuff while you're in school. Go take risks. Like, for me, it was real estate, but for someone else, it might be go try to like poke around at starting a business, or just go do something risky, because you have the runway to go do it. You're young. Your overhead's not insane. But I think people can't look past the fact that you had diligently saved enough cash to go now take a risk and try something.
Yeah. And I was willing to
most
keep
people,
my head
it's that
down.
hamster wheel, like, I don't have enough runway to go take the risk, because they got to keep the lights on. They got to go back to work tomorrow to be able to pay the bills this month. And you didn't have that situation.
Yeah. And to put it into context, like, everything in hindsight looks great. It's like, oh, I would love to do what you did or
Yeah.
have what you have. And that's not people saying that about me. That's anybody that has success. You're like,
Right.
oh, that's incredible. But almost every single person has that type of a
Mhm.
beginning at some level. And right today, everyone, like, there's just so many people that look for the quick fix, and it's not there. Like, you have to be willing to put your head down and grind, and people are willing to do that, but you have to put the blinders on to not compare. Like, for context, my first 8 months, which was like my end of calendar year, I only made $12,000.
Wow.
And like I had made $45,000 or $50,000.
You were married, right?
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
married.
Feeding my sister.
Yeah, tough ramen.
Tough ramen.
I'm telling you, we were living in student housing.
Yeah, I remember
the
that.
time.
I remember that.
But it was like I had gone from making 45 grand in 3 months
To 12.
to 12 grand in a year.
Yeah.
And all of my other friends are graduating and getting these sexy tech jobs, and they're getting paid 60, 70, 80K base.
Yep.
And I just had to keep the blinders on. I'm like, hey, I know that I'm going to put in a lot of time. I own it. I know that I own it. I control my destiny.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to chase this thing hard, and I'm not going to look sideways.
So
And that was what helped me, is like, I just made that decision early on that I will not look at somebody else and compare.
Yep.
And just trust that the path that I'm picking is the right one, because I'm fully committed to it.
That's cool. So you went and approached these 3 partners and basically said, hey, I'd love to jump in. Here's a model that makes sense for me. Then you went in and added a lot of value. You helped the business grow. Your book grew, and you owned your own book of business there, right?
Yep.
And then how many years before you guys exited that first business? Because there's been 2 exits in the last like 24 months, right?
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
So I guess there was like was that 5-6 years then that you were building there, or how long was that build?
Yeah.
that
So I
first run?
bought that business in 2021.
Okay.
So end of 2020 to 20, it was right during the COVID period.
Okay.
We bought that from the old owner, and we owner financed it, so I didn't take any cash.
Wow.
Like
Cool.
another discussion for another day, but people that think, if you're looking for other businesses, there's a lot of ways to get in without a lot of cash.
Cool.
But yeah, so we bought that in about 2020, 2021, operated it for about 2 years. And once again, for me to leverage my way in, I went to those partners and said, hey, I'm either going to leave. And I'd grown enough book where I said, hey, I'm either going to leave, it'll hurt, or I want to buy in and do this together. But we're flipping the model
To the business.
to the business owners.
So for 2 years the model was, I just have you have your own book, Taylor. That's awesome. Welcome to the club. Then you crushed it.
Yep.
And then you had some leverage there and something to
Yeah, and I was
of
open
value.
and I was open with them the whole time,
Sure,
of saying,
yeah.
hey, I'm contracting out with you. I love the 50-50, but
Yep.
at some point I want to own something bigger. And they were always open to discussions for having me in,
Mm-hmm.
but we finally made it happen. And part of that was to flip the model. So me and the 2 partners, I had convinced them to say, let's take a risk. We're going to take all of the books that we own individually and put them into the middle.
Mm-hmm.
We're going burning ships.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to put the assets together to make it worth more.
So now there were 3 partners and you all owned it 33.
33, 33, 33.
Okay.
We put it in, and then we've changed how we hired people. We started going to the traditional model where we wouldn't allow people to own their books. But then I could also help people grow their books faster if they joined us. So I became obsessed with, hey, if I bring somebody on, how can I make them succeed?
Yeah.
That I didn't have in
Right.
the beginning. The
Cool.
mentor I didn't have.
So
So-
you turned into like, we have the system here, the infrastructure for you to crush it, make a bunch of cash as an insurance agent in our org.
Exactly right. And so we started going down that path. The insurance industry just started getting consolidated like crazy. Like, private equity money was coming in, and
Yeah.
it was getting stupid on a lot of these multiples, especially because we're a recurring revenue business.
Yeah.
So they're paying disgusting amounts of money to have people retire.
Mm-hmm.
And we had been approached a bunch. We weren't taking offers. I was basically like, pound sand, I'm going to go build this. You'll pay more for me later.
Yeah.
But one of the big takeaways that completely also shifted me was, early on when I bought that business, I knew that it was going to be bigger than me, and I needed somebody to pull my head out so that I could see a bigger vision.
Mm-hmm.
And early on, I ended up paying a coach. It was the best decision I ever made, but I was paying a coach almost like $3,000 a month, and they wouldn't work with companies as small as we were.
Okay.
And I had like begged him, I'm like, please, like, work with us. He's like, well, we have a minimum fee. We're not going to lower it for you. And I said, well, tell me what it is. And it was basically, hey, we meet with them once a month. I mean, and they were super generous. I don't mean this to be like harsh, but it was a big risk for us. Like I was going to guarantee somebody $3,000 a month and they were going to meet with me for an hour.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I
Scary to justify it.
So scary to justify. Once we did it, they helped us completely help us think. They didn't do the work, but they helped us shift our mindset to change the model.
Cool.
And then they also said, hey, we have another client of ours trying to get into the West. You guys are extremely like-minded.
Interesting.
And typically we don't do this, but if you guys want a conversation, they're dying to get into the West, especially into Utah.
This was Gibson then?
This is Gibson.
Cool.
And so they ended up connecting us. And
how long had you been meeting with that with those guys as like a coach?
About 1.5 years or so. Yeah.
Cool.
And so then about 2 years in, we ended up going down the path with Gibson, and they had a really unique pitch that was different than everyone else. They said, hey, we're really young. We have a lot of resources. We have much more scale than you. We have big plans for the future. You guys are young. We want you guys in, but we want you to sell in rather than sell out. Meaning when you sell, I want you guys to roll over a significant amount of equity so that you're bought into what we're doing on a bigger level.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And obviously that's what I wanted. And my 2 partners were on board as well. So we ended up doing that because for me, it gave me a quicker path to just skip a bunch of the next headache steps that I knew I would have to go through.
Yeah.
And so they enabled me to skip a bunch of those. And the CEO has been incredible. He's one of those people that, it's like, it's those leaders and those mentors where it's like, hey, they see something in you more than what you see in yourself.
Yep.
And he's been incredible to me, still is incredible to me. I love running side by side with him. He's one of the most unique humans and special humans ever.
That's cool.
But once I got into Gibson, they pretty quickly restructured the board. And because I had rolled over a lot more equity from our deal, I was kind of in the mid-tier of the equity holders, but got voted on we restructured the board, and there's 30 shareholders that owned equity in Gibson.
Mm-hmm.
And there was 3 of us that got voted, and it was myself and 2 others.
Cool.
And so I kind of view myself as like the minority person. I'm like, hey, so I'm in a small market. I'm a young person.
Yeah.
I'm not, I'm white, but
yeah.
I at least have the other things going for me. And so anyway, I got to the board, and then that's when we, over the next 6, 8, 12 months, Gibson themselves started considering looking at outside capital, other equity structures. Hey, should we take on debt? Should we take on equity? Should we get minority capital? Should we sell? And we had always been very, very true independent. We were employee owned. Mm-hmm. Gibson was.
Cool.
It's one of the coolest stories. There's when we transacted, I don't know the exact numbers, but there was of about 180 employees. I want to say there's probably 40 or 50 plus that left with over $700,000.
Wow.
And a lot of those people have never made more than $50,000 a year in their life.
So cool.
And it was because we were employee owned. They had a really unique structure. But I kind of got a fun ride because I got a seat at the table, obviously, when we sold to Gibson, to see what that structure, what the sale process looks like.
Mm-hmm.
And then got to experience it on the higher level where, in the beginning, we're selling for multi-7 figures, and the next one we're selling for multi-9 figures.
Crazy.
Right? And
so you got a front row seat to see kind of a small, medium size acquisition, but then you got another front row seat to see a big banger acquisition.
Yeah.
And what were the differences that you saw there?
So
like the first acquisition to the second one, what were the differences that you observed in how those deals were different? And
yeah, I would say, there's obviously a lot different as far as the due diligence, the level of information that people have to sift through
on the
second one that feel comfortable with. But as far as the process goes, the process is the same.
Wow.
So that was something that shocked me was a lot of it was so similar. as far as the basic structure, the concepts. None of that changed. There was a few more zeros,
Yeah.
but we did have some technicalities with being employee owned and having an ESOP structure and a bunch of these,
Sure. Yeah.
other financial structures that made it more technical.
Mm-hmm.
But the difference is, what's crazy is it wasn't that much difference. And the difference between us and Gibson is and this is what had benefited us, and what us meaning my first firm and Gibson, we both had the same playbook, which is why we were working with those same consultants. They gave us the same playbook. It's like we didn't build it to sell it.
Yeah.
We built it so that it could last for hundreds of years and never planned on selling it.
Yep.
And that's why it was so attractive.
Yeah, I think that's a super important thought there, because I think a lot of people view your story and it's like they're in maybe 20 years old, and so they start to think like, oh, maybe I should go buy a business and drive a bunch of revenue and then I'll sell it and I'll just ride off into the sunset. I think that the healthier mentality always, because like in that scenario, to have that happen, there's some things that do need to line up. You need to be in the right economy. Timing matters. I think that the healthy mindset is just like, I'm going to go build something that can last a long time. And then if at some point you decide you want to go sell something, someone will pay a lot for it because it's built to last.
Yeah.
Like, people aren't dumb. That's not dumb. Those guys that are buying these big businesses or buying any kind of a business, they're running numbers to try to protect themselves from the thing going under. And if it's printing cash and you've built something to last, then they'll pay a big multiple for it. Like, I have partners that sold their last business, and same thing. They used to always tell me when I was working for them the first 5-6 years, like, we have no interest in selling. Like, this is we are building this sucker for the long haul. And at some point they did decide to sell it, but it was like, it kind of felt like it happened overnight. It feels like that's how your guys' thing was as well, right? The intentions aren't there. Even if it's like way back there in the back of your mind, that helps you get pumped to go to work every day. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
But you should, anytime you're going into business, like, the mentality needs to be not flip, but like, I'm going to build something that can last a really long time.
Yeah, I could not agree more with that. The what made Gibson so valuable is because during the same consolidation that we kind of got rolled up. That same time, Gibson couldn't. I mean, if we got rolled up by Gibson, Gibson was getting hit up all the time. They were massive. They're a top 100 insurance broker in the U.S.
Yeah.
And they were getting hit up all the time to sell. And I obviously wasn't around, but I've reheard a lot of these war stories that were told. But all the shareholders in there, Tim's basically going in, our CEO, and saying, guys, I don't want to hear another word. We're not selling this thing. I don't care how much money it is. It does not matter. We're not selling it.
Yeah.
And that decision right there, 3 years prior, I mean, made 9 figures plus difference.
Sure. Because
in 3
everyone's
years.
approaching the thing like, we're going to be around forever, so we got to start handling ourselves that way. When we sign up a customer, we got to treat them like they're with us for life.
Yes.
This isn't some flip play.
And everything was out of everything back historically was out of scarcity. And that's not how Tim operates. That's not how we at Gibson operate. Like, everything for us is abundance. Everything's long-term. Everything's abundant, because everyone wants to be around that. Everyone wants to buy that. To your point, like, an investor doesn't want to buy something that's hodgepodge together that they're going to have to go in and fix.
Yeah.
No, I mean, there's some investors that will do that and are looking for that, but you're not going to get paid top dollar.
No.
The investors that pay those top dollars they want an intact business, legit leaders.
Yep.
They want to find ways to enhance those leaders' capabilities so that they can go scale that. And I think that's the biggest misconception about, hey, I'm going to start my own business and go sell it, is you have no idea. People start without knowing what type of buyer they would love to align with, what they would like what they would like that to look like down the road. They just think about the dollar amount.
Sure.
And I think that's the mistake. It's going back to, once again, I'm not getting paid for these royalties, but beginning with the end in mind.
Yeah.
It's like, think about the experience, like what it looks like and feels like, not the dollars and cents, but what does it look and feel like when you get acquired 3, 5, 7, 10 years from now? And it doesn't matter which of those years you get acquired, but what does that feel like to you afterward? And then what would you want post that deal? And how do you structure it in a way that you can make that happen? Because once again, people hear horror stories with M&A, and it's such a misconception. M&A can be one of the most incredible things on the planet, and it can be one of the most horrific things on the planet.
Yeah, but when people are only thinking dollars and cents and the price tag, then that's where people get got, or they
You
have
sell your
bad
soul.
acquisitions or
Yeah.
bad mergers go down. But when it's about structure and what's important to the buyer or the seller, then partnerships can be pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think the main takeaway from my vantage point, just watching you over the years, has been one of like delay gratification, eat ramen, lots of things happening. Like I'm looking at this iceberg on the wall here. It's like a lot of the stuff underneath the iceberg that's happening, and no one else is seeing the stuff above the surface. And and you had to go years and years and years of that. I mean, there were years and years and years where, like, I know me and Cole, for example, your brothers, we're both your brother-in-laws.
Yeah.
And Cole's a loan officer and was making stacks when rates were super low. I know that, like hundreds of thousands of dollars. And me in summer sales, hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yep.
And him and I are buying properties along the way. And there's probably part of you that's like, frick, dude, like these guys are buying assets, but you were building your business and that was your asset. Yep. And then at some point, it's like, wow, like Tay just had an exit. Good for him. Really big exit. And then like, wow, Taylor just had another really, really big exit. And so I think that to listeners listening, like whatever your vehicle is or whatever your strategy is, like whether you go and own your own business at some point because you've made enough in a job to go give yourself some runway to go do it, or whether you stay in a vehicle where you're making a lot of active income and you don't have ownership at your active job, but you're investing along the way because that's still ownership. Like you're still planting seeds. And then when, the timing lines up and the market does what it's supposed to do, boom, you have these big paydays, right? Yeah. But I think the main takeaway for me watching your story is just like, it's that classic, be willing to do what others aren't willing to do for 5-10 years. And then if you go do that and you execute and you keep your blinders on, like you said, and you just go execute, at some point you'll be able to live like others can't for the rest of your life. And this last exit for you is like north of a $2 million payday, right? Like just amazingly impactful outcome.
Yeah.
And I'm proud of you, dude. That's freaking such a cool story, and like, it takes guts and patience and hard work, and also you're like just like your brain. I think it's so cool how you structured those deals, and again back to your upbringing, kind of that. Now listeners can kind of see how those two were merged together with your story and how you used the technical side, and then along the way, you got the deal structured properly, but you were hustling, selling insurance throughout to bring in the revenue.
I was schlepping insurance the entire time.
You were selling insurance, man. Like, so I think that's an awesome story. Thanks. So going forward for you, like what's next? So you're still there.
Still there, yeah. They so similar thing, rolling equity over into the larger company. It's going to continue going the same way, but. Cool.
So you took some chips off the table and now you're rolling some more into the new one.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So I did that the first time, did it the second time. I don't know if there will be more times, but I'm sure, at some point it's inevitable.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I'm still there. And, we were chatting about this before. One of your guests, your first guest, Blake Erickson.
Yeah.
Didn't know that he was from here, that you knew him or whatever, but we actually just, the CEO I've been mentioning, Tim Lehman, he pushed me onto this, the science of scaling.
Uh-huh.
And that's actually what's next for us right now. So I'm still at the company, but we're rethinking, it's the same concept. Hey, what got us here won't get us there.
Sure.
And we need to scale differently. And we have a big opportunity out in the West. So my role is completely pivoting. It'll be probably the first time in my life that I'm not directly selling.
Mm-hmm.
But once again, going back to those early days, my goal now is to find other partner companies, partner firms that I can relate to. I've been there before.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, have them help join us. I can help make sure that they're successful. And then we're just going to be hiring a lot of salespeople to say, hey, we're going to go and make this land grab. Our firm is not that far out in the West. Like, we're as far west as it goes. And we need to continue to build out Utah and some of the other areas. So we're rethinking how we scale this over the next 2, 3, 5 years.
Cool.
And we're going really big, and it's honestly kind of scary.
Yeah.
But it's kind of the next chapter and the next iteration, but it still aligns with where I'm at. It's kind of going back to the roots of, hey, the next people I bring on, I don't have a book. My sole job is to make sure that the M&A opportunities that come on board are successful, that the new producers succeed, and that I can help them sell and get them with the strategy, the alignment, and just
Cool.
we go grow this thing.
Isn't that cool about business that like you use the quote, what got you here won't get you there? I just think that that's such a neat thought, and there's levels along the way, right? Like the thing that got you the first acquisition wasn't the thing that got you the second one, and it sure as heck won't be the thing that, you know, helps you win from here.
Yeah.
And I just think that concept of like skating to where the puck is going. I was listening to their new book actually this morning. We're like plugging those guys super hard.
I know.
But
it is really good, by the way. But
Science of Scaling is a great book. Love you, Blake.
Tony Robbins recommends it. So, okay, I don't, if it's coming recommended from me, I know people are going to trust that, but at least, hey, Tony Robbins says it's a good
Yeah,
book.
he wrote the foreword.
Yeah.
But they were talking about like the Blockbuster Netflix story, right? Like Blockbuster is doing like billions in revenue, and Netflix approaches them and they throw kind of like we'll buy you for 50 mil, and Blockbuster laughed them out of the room.
Yeah.
And then now Blockbuster's out of business. Netflix is worth hundreds of billions of dollars. But it's just like, it is this concept of like, we hit our benchmark. This is where we're at. Now, looking forward, what do we need to say no to? And what is the model that helps us kind of go get there? And I think that's such a cool part of business. Like, I love that part. And I love the idea of like, I'm always going to be climbing a mountain or building something. And I think in your case, it's like, you're young, you got energy, business is fun. It's kind of a sport. We both love sports. And
I love it.
So I think that's cool that now going forward, you're treating it that way. It's just like, cool, we had success. We won that game. How are we going to win this game? It's not always the same exact answers, you know?
Yeah. And I one of the things I was thinking about this of like, how did I, you know, who made me successful and who gave me those opportunities that I just didn't have previously. And I think back, I want to tie back one more time to the door-to-door thing. I know it's been a lot, and sorry, I'm belaboring this point, but, you know, one of the mentors early on was like, hey, I try to measure myself by how many millionaires I create or can help create, whether you stay in door-to-door or whether you go somewhere else.
Cool.
And I've still had that person reach out to me over time. And I'm not like, I was never that great at door-to-door, and I've continued to do other things, but it was like, you know, at first, you know, I hear that on the doors and I'm like, great, everything's about money. Like, you want to make a lot of people a lot of money. Yeah, that's the pitch from everybody. But that was the most true thing, because he kept following up on it and he had no incentive for me. And that was one of the things that I think about when you talk about how, you know, business is fun. There's so many things to do to give back. And if you can get creative and find out, like, the way that I really made that money and how I made the initial business work is I found out what somebody else wanted. And I, as authentically as humanly possible, obviously I have some skin in the game. If they do well, I do well. I'm going to make the structure that way, but I'm going to find out what they want and help them achieve what they want. And I know that I will be taken care of in return. Yeah. And it's that similar concept that just keeps going over time. And one, I want to continue to do that for somebody else, somebody bigger than me, somebody better than me. I still want to continue to do that. But then I also want to create opportunities for other people, because once again, this is like a fun game. Like, once you learn it, it stops becoming so much about the dollars, although those always matter at some level. But it's more of like a fun game of how you figure out how to play it a little bit, and you just want to get better at it. Yeah, it's fun. That's kind of where it's at.
Yeah, there's a sense of accomplishment. Like, there's cornerstones to kind of happiness as a human, and one of them is accomplishment. There's no shame in that. But then there's also this like impact component that matters a ton. And I would say at this point in my game, like it drives me, like I am way more excited about one of my reps making an additional $100,000 than I am myself making an additional $100,000. Yeah. Like, the marginal increase for me is like it fires me up to see reps winning and people winning and leaders winning. Like, I think I have 4 or 5 reps already from last summer that have already bought a rental property. So and it's like, it's October 1st, you know, and the fall just began, and like guys are investing their money. And I think it's a cool way to live, is like, how many millionaires will I go create? Because it's not the dollar amount, it's who they become in the process of becoming a millionaire, and like being able to go see that and experience that is there's nothing cooler, you know. Um, so I think tying it up, I would love to just kind of loop in the, like how does it all work together? Like the family component. You're such a good dude, like in terms of your faith and just living. But let's basically go back to the dentist guy, right? So like your goal going into the whole thing is I want to be able to have a lifestyle with my family, with my loved ones that allows me to like live my dream life. Maybe just speak to how the family piece works into it, how the faith component works into it.
Yeah.
Just so we can kind of tie it all together.
Yeah, I wish I had it all figured out. I'm going to say that first. There's a concept that a lot of people use. It's like, people always say, "Hey, how do you balance these things?" I know that's not specifically what you asked, but
Yeah.
like that's actually an area that I've really, really, really struggled with. I just don't really believe in the word balance for the word balance itself.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't think that everything's equal, obviously. And like when you say that, people say, "Oh, that makes sense." Like, yeah, of course not everything's equal, but um, it's been a moving target for me over time of how I can actually make those things balance. I don't like that word once,
Yeah.
maybe harmonize,
Yeah.
work together. But for me now, I mean, I'm still in a phase, and I think I'll always be in this now, right? At first, I started this thinking like, hey, once I make the money,
Yeah.
it's going to change. And now I just got to go sit and relax, and I don't want to do that.
I was guilty of that too. I think a lot of us going into our 20s, it was like, I'm going to go really, really grind for 10 years, and then I'm going to totally shift gears when I have my big payday. Yep. And I think that, I think to your point, like I don't know, like I more so now see it as like, moments,
Yeah.
And as I would hope as life goes deeper, like there is this like, dude, I'm going to just change my priorities.
Yeah.
But even now, like at our age, like there's just beautiful moments. And if you'll just like go lock into those and allow for more of those, I feel like we're both in that stage where I'm like now allowing myself for more of those moments maybe. And that feels good.
Yeah. That was one of the things I just, I feel bad. Your sister, my wife, Mikkel, is incredible and honestly takes the brunt of it with our two boys. Like they're 18 months apart. They're total boys, and they just run amok in our house, and it's brutal and they're crazy.
Yep.
And so, there's the demon side of me that sits there and it's like, oh man, I'd rather just work later. Like it's so much easier to work later than go home. But we've created a good system and structure now where it's like I can go home, try to be as helpful as humanly possible for a period of time, although it's not a long period of time.
Yeah.
When I can go, I can shut it down and just say, hey, I never fully shut off, but for this hour and a half, 2 hours, whatever it is, I'm going to fully shut down. I don't care what happens. It's off. And then after that, I'll allow myself to check back in occasionally if I feel like I need to. But that's been the evolution. And I hope that will continue to, that's the goal, to keep pushing that boundary further and further and further over time, especially as my kids continue to get older and they're more involved in different things so that I can help out and be a part of things more to help shape some of that. But yeah, and on the faith side, for me, it's honestly been one of those things where I kind of going back to it, I built a foundation of faith where I've always been there, but my faith has continued to evolve over time as well of, what do I believe in? How do I believe in it? And how do I show up for it or don't show up? Right. Because, you can say everything that you believe in, but, your heart and your pocketbook and your time show you what you actually care about.
That's right.
And that's one of those areas that, I'm trying to get a little bit better at of like, hey, how can I serve a little bit better? How can I carve out time to just truly connect with Jesus myself, like on a deeper level, much, much deeper than I have been, just with all of the busyness. And that's a terrible excuse. And I hate the word busy as well. But that's one of those areas that I'm trying to hone in right now and get better at. And I have been for a while, but the faith ultimately though has kept me. I mean, when you go down some of these routes and deals and, flying to different places and doing all this stuff, it's so easy to get lost in the world and so easy to get lost in different things. And the beautiful thing is that the faith has continued to help me just stay down the right track. And so, I mean, regardless of what people believe, like I always tell people in the Midwest, there's a lot of things that I don't really like culturally about the religion that I'm a part of. But at the same time, like I couldn't imagine a life where I don't have religion in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I would probably consider myself more of a spiritual person than a religious person.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't mean that religion is not important and that I shouldn't have it in my life. I need it in my life. It provides the structure for me and for my family to make sure that it makes those decisions easier when the hard decisions come up. It's already pre-made. I created a habit. I create a culture around it.
Yeah.
And the cultural piece is frustrating at times, but it's also what saves me and other people at times, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like I need some of that in my life as well. So it's been an incredible thing for me, and it's something I'll always have the faith, and I'll always push to be stronger culturally and spiritually as well.
I like that. And I think that like it all works together a lot more than sometimes we think too, right? Like when you were talking about all those people impacted by your guys' second exit or whatever, it's like for me, I don't know, like I think that some of these pillars in life work together a lot more than sometimes we make them out to. And I think being mindful of that. I also think that like I love your idea on like pushing the boundary. Like as life goes on, it'll change. And I actually think it's Alex Hormozy, someone that I followed. He was like, if you're really, really, really concerned about work-life balance as a 22-year-old single man, like you have a serious, like, dude, you shouldn't have work-life balance yet. Like, and honestly, I would even say the same when you're young and married. Like there's just, if you have big dreams, there's big sacrifices. I just had Jocelyn on and we just talked about for 30 minutes straight, like all the sacrifices that we've made. And it was actually like, it's like somewhat comical.
The amount of homes.
Yeah, dude. I mean, but Mikkel, I would say the same thing about my sister is like, she's just like the way that she's just leaned into being a mom and like just owning it. And it's a massive sacrifice, but it allows for us to go spend the first quarter of our life, if you will, like trying to win that game so that we can go move the boundary going forward. And I think that people need to understand that if you have amazing work-life balance and you're going on 10 trips a year and you're in your 20s and you haven't made it yet, like, dude, you're going to be working a lot in your 30s and 40s and stressing about money. And so I do think there's an argument for trying to get ahead in that part of your life so that you just have options and freedom as life goes on. And I think we've always seen eye to eye on that.
Yeah.
And Mikkel's amazing. I joke around sometimes. People all the time are like, because Mikkel, my wife looks a lot like my sister and my mom.
Yeah.
And they're always like, dude, your wife looks like your sister and your mom. I'm like, yeah, dude. Like, why wouldn't I?
Yeah.
My sister's freaking beautiful, and so is my mom. Like, why wouldn't I go try to find someone like them? I feel like they're just angels, and so we've done well. We're blessed.
It's been a lot of fun. And yeah, I mean, obviously the marrying into the family and it's so fun having like other people in your similar situation. That's the beauty of the blended family on your side, is that we have so many people that are so close, from Hunter and Cole and you and myself and others. It's just it's fun to be around, and it's fun to share the beautiful parts of life together, the hard parts and the great parts.
Yeah. Oh, I'm grateful for you, dude. I know you've been super impactful for my little brothers. All three of them look up to you a ton, and it's been cool to just have another like example where I feel like not all eyes are on me, but like on someone else. And like you've just set an amazing example for both sides of my fam, my dad's side and then my mom's side. And that's been a big blessing. And I think, it's rare nowadays to go find someone that's just showing up in all those important areas, and I'm grateful for all the memes, dude. So
Yeah, me too. Well, that's nice of you to say. And just so you guys know, Parker and I also usually golf together when we have brother-in-law
That's
golf
right.
outings.
Yeah.
Fortunately, I bring the team down, and I usually cause us to lose. So
oh, dude.
I owe Parker a lot of money from golf rounds that we've lost together.
Yeah, some
It's
Venmo
basically
requests.
Parker playing solo.
Some Venmo requests have been sent to our other brothers that no, we'll get them back, dude.
Yeah, we will.
I'm,
Well, anyway,
I'm
thank you,
bullish.
Parker.
I'm bullish
Yeah,
on our future of golf
too.
and duck hunting this weekend. So
it's gonna be fantastic. But yeah, thanks for having me on. And
Yeah.
likewise, I mean, you know, we don't need to make this into a super gushy fest, but you're an incredible person, and there's a reason that the family looks up to you. So
thanks, man. Appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in to this episode, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.